Welcome grade 7. In this math video we are going to be taking a look at exercise 12.4, the practice questions, and going over some of the solutions and how to figure out the answers to some of these particular questions. So first of all, we have two main questions, but we're dealing with the area of trapezoids here in solving these particular questions. So the first set, the first question, it just asks us to figure out the area. So it gives us a trapezoid in a, let me see if I can draw it out a little bit here. This one kind of looks like a parallelogram even though it's not. We have a base height of 14, we have another base height up here of 10, and we have a perpendicular height of 9. Remember that to figure this out, area equals 1/2 times base 1 plus base 2, which is really this base and this base added together, times height. So let's plug in what we know and solve for what we don't, which is in this case just our area. 1/2 times base 1 is 14 plus base 2, which is 10, times our perpendicular height, which is 9. So area equals order of operations. We have to do our brackets first. 24 here. 1/2 of 24 is 12. So area equals 12 times 9, which is going to be 108. So there's our very first area as we plug in what we know. Our second one, we are given a trapezoid that looks a little bit like this. We are told that this is a right angle, and these are right angles, although it's not too significant. It's just that we know then that this is the perpendicular height. So this is 5, this is 8, and we have a perpendicular height of 6. So in this question, area equals 1/2 times base 1 plus base 2 times height. Our base 1 is 5, our base 2 is 8, and our height is 6. So 5 plus 8 is going to give us 13. 1/2 of 13 is going to be 6.5 times 6. So we're going to end up with a decimal here, but not necessarily in our answer. 6.5 times 6 is going to give us a final area of 39. In C gets not too tricky, but it looks a little bit trickier because it's sideways. If you think of it just as being a sideways trapezoid, or if you kind of rotate your page a little bit, then hopefully it won't seem a little bit as tricky. It gives us a base 1 of 7, it gives us a vertical height of 4, and it gives us a base 2 of 3. So our area equals 1/2 times base 1, 7, plus base 3 is, or base 2, which is 3. So this is our base 1, this is our base 2, times our perpendicular height of 4. So area equals 1/2 times 10 times 4. 1/2 of 10 is just 5 times 4, which is an area of 20. Let's go on to D, in the strange shaped trapezoid that we have here. We are given a base 1 height of 11, base 2 height of 5, and through these dotted lines a perpendicular height of 9. So using that information, area equals 1/2 times base 1, which is 11, plus base 2 is 5, times 9. Area equals 1/2 times 16 times 9. 1/2 of 16 is 8 times 9, which is an area of 72. So that would be how you would step through question number 1, as we just plug in and figure out what our base 1 and base 2 is and our perpendicular heights for that question. Question 2 gets a little bit trickier in that we are asked to solve for area in the first part, but then also sometimes for the missing height or the missing bases. So we're given the information that we have A, which is basically base 1. We have B, which is base 2. We have h, which is our height, and then we have area, which is our area. And so some of these we have, some of these we don't. For part A, we know that our base 1 is 7, our base 2 is 10, and our perpendicular height is 8. So this one's just a simple going through just like we did before, where area equals 1/2 times base 1, which is 7, plus base 2, which is 10, times a height of 8. So area equals 1/2 times 17 times 8. Now a half of 17 is going to be 8.5 times 8. 8.5 times 8 is going to give us an area of 68. So that's the missing value in part A. Part B is where it starts getting a lot trickier. We see that this is 5 and 9, so we know our two bases. We don't know our height, but we know there's an area of 42. So in this question, we know our area is 42, 1/2 times our base 1 is 5, our base 2 is 9, but this time we don't know the height. That's what's missing here. So 42 equals 1/2 times 5 plus 9 is 14 times h. 42 equals 7, half of 14 is 7, times h. This is where we have to start rearranging. We want to get h by itself. The way of doing that is to get rid of this times 7. So divide by 7 on both sides, and 42 divided by 7 is going to give us a finished height of 6. That's our missing value. C. C, we are given base 1, we are given a height, and we're given an area. We are not given a base 2. So this gets significantly harder as that is within part of this trickier formula. So our area is 231, which equals 1/2 times, actually in this case I'm going to use just the divided by 2. It'll become a bit easier and you'll see in a minute. Base 1, which is 13, plus base 2, which we don't know. I'm just going to call B because that's what it is in our chart, times a height of 14 divided by 2, or times 1/2, however you want to see it. The reason why I did divided by 2 is because I can start by doing a times 2 on both sides then. These cancel out. 231 times 2 is going to be 462. 462 equals 13 plus B times 14. Next step, divide both sides by 14 to get rid of that times 14. So a 462 divided by 14 is going to be 33. So now I got rid of those brackets because that's the only thing that's left. These canceled out. I can now subtract 13 from both sides to figure out that my second base here is going to be 33 minus 13, or 20. So that's my value there. So a little bit trickier as we went through, a lot more steps involved in that one. Some algebra involved in that one too. D, the last part of this question, we are not given a base 1. We are given a base 2 of 11. We're given a height of 10, and we're given an area of 85. Solving D is the exact same as solving C. The exact same method, but let's step through it regardless. So we're given an area of 85. We are given, then we don't know base 1, so we're going to call that A, plus base 2 is 11, times a height of 10 divided by 2. Start off timesing 2 on both sides to cancel out the 2's. 85 times 2 is 170, equals A plus 11 times 10. Want to get rid of a times 10, so I divide 10 to both sides. So I now have, these cancel out. 170 divided by 10 is 17, equals A plus 11. To get A by itself, subtract 11 on both sides, and I get A equals 17 minus 11, or 6. That's my missing value in that particular question. So this would be how we would step through the practice questions in solving for both the area, but also any missing base 1, base 2, or height in a trapezoid.